Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, November 12th, 11 p.m. Mountain Time 2019. The GFS models are in, and our settings are not what we want. Take a look at the snow. Already moving through, wreaking havoc across the upper Midwest and the East. There's a little bit more coming to the Northeast and the Southeast. Look at that. And even in Mexico. A second light system, and then the pattern moves to the west and the Northeast again. Heavy snow showing up on the later models here through mid-November in Oregon, Washington. Through the 28th. That snow is going to be starting on the 22nd. Oh, look at those models. Not only that, Sheveluch exploding to 33,000 feet. Currently calm. Keep calm. It's boom time. Brutal Arctic blast affecting 200 million people from Chicago to Texas, and it isn't over yet, according to Mr. Bacon and Hawk. I'm getting hungry. Arctic blast grips part of the U.S. with snow and record-breaking cold. Record-breaking cold and snowfall is numbing many parts of the U.S. from the Great Plains to the East Coast and north through New England. By Wednesday, the cold snap is expected to spread further south to upper Texas coast in what is being described as an Arctic outbreak. Is that how it's being described? We just closed Texas. Let's get to that. Now, the records coming out of Texas are insane. Texas is seeing the teens. Record cold and coldest of the season. Lubbock. Record cold this morning, which in our forecast, Lubbock Airport dropped to 15 degrees. Now, the November 12th record was 19 back in 1915 and 1919. So that's crushing that record back 100 years. And that's Texas for you. The nexus of the schmexus. The coldest was 7 degrees on November 3rd, 1991. But it was chilly, said Billy. Record cold on the way. Tonight in Michigan, 100-year-old record to fall. Fresh snow, somewhat clear skies, and already cold air will make for record cold in numerous cities in Michigan this afternoon and tonight. The first type of record is a little difficult to imagine. It is the record coldest high temperature for this afternoon. So it's a very cold afternoon. Here are the forecast high temperatures this afternoon. The temperatures showing would be new records for the coldest high temperature for November 12th. Look at that. Those are the highs, not the lows. Afternoon high temperatures forecast for Tuesday, November 12th were ridiculously below freezing, except for this little spot there, which is they were burning up down there. Ow! According to NOAA, most of the record high, cold high temperatures this afternoon will break records from 1995 or 96 in Grand Rapids. Record highs today is 27 from way back to 1920. That isn't funny. That's cold. And let's see what CBS This Morning has to say about the situation.
With the terrible, brutal weather, and brutal is a word, an Arctic blast is slamming the U.S. and is expected to bring dangerously cold conditions to more than half of the country. Winter weather alerts are in effect across more than a dozen states. More than 220 million Americans, that's a lot of people, will experience below freezing temperatures in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Snow is hammering states from the Midwest to New England, making for treacherous travel conditions. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is in Pittsford, New York. That's just outside Rochester. So, David, good morning. How cold is it there?
Good morning. It's a balmy 23 degrees as we stand here along the Erie Canal. Hello, good morning. Cute puppies there. It looks like a winter wonderland in the fall. Listen, you're probably thinking, how did a guy from the south get sent up north to cover the snow? That's what happens this time of year. And that's fair, but it doesn't always happen this early. And the big story is the record-setting temperatures from north to south.
You got to expect a little snow in November, but this is a little early for me.
Just ask people in Dowagiac, Michigan. They were not expecting weather like this, near whiteout snow. As much as 5 inches were forecast to come down overnight.
If you pick it up like this, it's very light and fluffy.
Flurries fell as far south as Nashville, Tennessee, where some people were happy to get an early glimpse of winter.
It's here!
In the village of Alden, New York, population 10,000, we noticed brothers Gavin and Grant outside playing in the snow.
What do y'all think of the snow?
Great.
Pretty good, huh?
But the conditions also led to numerous crashes on Monday, from New York to Missouri to Illinois.
Holy macaroni.
Where in
Watch
Chicago, an icy runway at O'Hare Airport sent this American Airlines plane skidding
not
into
gonna
the
make
grass
that.
Monday morning. The weather also stopped some travelers from flying altogether. Cleveland resident Tammy Pepin Bus was trying to get to Florida.
Definitely disappointed.
Yeah, not happening. Arctic blast slams U.S., snow hammers the states from the Midwest to New England. That's your new situation, a grand solar minimum situation. Take a look at the amount of record lows in dark blue. Those are the record lows, dark blue. The lighter blues are matching or nearing. But dark blue is record cold. It looks like hundreds, if not over 1,000 happening in the last 24 hours across the U.S. Absolutely insane. The links will be below. The snow forecast is equally as tragic, which is why Al Gore is nowhere to be seen. The unofficial record-breaking temperatures across the globe look no better. Record lows surrounding Africa, Europe, Scandinavia, the Middle East. It's a beast. We're going to show you some more stats if you stick with us. Villagers are knitting jumpers for Indian elephants. It's so bad. The Independent. Multiple key roads blocked in Algeria following heavy snowfall. North Africa caught on the edges of Europe's polar blast over the weekend into Monday. Heavy snowfall affected several wilayas provinces in Algeria yesterday, as reported by alg24.net. The key national road, number 33. Where have I seen that before? Linking Bornois to Titouatsu was closed during Monday morning's rush hour near the town of El Asnam. As was the RN30, the alternative route connecting Rara to Titouatsu. I mean, I don't even know how I'm getting to work. Let's check out the GFS models for Europe, and they are devastating for the Alps, and that's in the near future. We're talking by the end of next weekend, over a meter of snow throughout the entire Alps, and avalanche warnings. Also, heavy snow in northern Spain. It's insane. And there's your North Africa. And this thing following me around. It's totally making me want to vom. Look at that. We have snow in the UK, north and south, and Scotland. Can you believe that? And heavy snow through central Norway and up through Greta Van Susternville. Or is that Greta Thunberg? I keep mixing those two up. Oh, my God. Take a look at the sea ice thickness 11 November 2019, moving vertically into record territory as we predicted. In 3 weeks, we predicted it to be up in the gray area, passing the gray line. Heads up, by December, first week, it will be a tweak because this light gray area ice is rapidly rushing towards Siberia quickly and the Ukraine and Scandinavia. It's doing it. It's moving it quickly. This will close in over the next several weeks, and the thickness will explode into the vertical fashion, vertically. And we're building at 5 gigatons of ice today in Greenland after a 7 gigaton day yesterday. Big days building. Are there any? Do you hear anybody? Total snow mass for the northern hemisphere, excluding the mountains, is currently double the 40-year average today. Double the 40-year average. Double the 40-year average today. Did I tell you it's just about double the 40-year average and coming in 2.5 weeks ahead of time where it should be? Those are some early statistics. Now, don't expect crops to fail worldwide all at the same time like many people are claiming. You're all going to just die instantly. It's not going to happen that way. Continents do not cool uniformly. Some countries will have better yields and longer yields than others. You just hope you get in a lucky country. Now, there's also going to be volcanic events as we move forward and the magnetic reversal to deal with. But the last Maunder and Dalton minimum here, you're looking at the entire phase. We're actually looking at weather for the last 2,000 years on planet Earth. Antarctica, South America, Australia, North America, Asia, Europe, and the Arctic. And each band represents a different temperature. Obviously, the darker red would be greater than 3 degrees above the standard mean, and blue would be very cold. And you can see what happened during the mini ice age here. It was very cold in many regions, but in Australia, it wasn't cold for a good portion of the Maunder minimum. And then it was continuously cold for the end of the Maunder through the Dalton, and then it warmed up only recently. And other areas are more cyclic, like Asia, up and down and in and out, and Europe. Even the Arctic gets hot and cold and hot and cold. But North America, similar to Australia, stays cold for long blocks of time, as well as South America. They were barely affected during the Dalton minimum. But after the Dalton, they were cool for 150 years and only warming up recently. So come take a look at this graph and glean some information. A lot of people email me and say, well, what was it like where I was? Take a look at the graph. Climate is cyclic and variable. So even when we go into a cold period, it gets hot and cold and hot and cold. It moves like a sine wave, so to speak, in cycles. Seismic update, no quakes of note. Oh, except we just had a 2.7 up here. Maybe near a volcano. It could be getting insano. Maybe not, but let's not get our panties in a bunch. And let's change the settings to satellite. Can you hear me now? Changing the settings to satellite. There you go. You just push the button and wait a second. Holy macaroni. And then we'll just blow this up. We know that Mauna Kea is experiencing seismic activity yesterday. We're not by a volcano. Here's a volcano right there. This is in a pretty nondescript region. And that could be very telling in its own way. Hey. No other quakes of note. We've wasted way too much time there. Worldwide volcano news update. Fuego, Popo, Sheveluch, Tucono, Reventador. Now, Sheveluch blasting to 33,000 feet. Let's run it down through the time series analysis here. Back on the 8th, it exploded at 12,000 feet. Then on Monday the 11th, exploding to 25,000 feet. And then on Tuesday the 12th, 33,000 feet. Uptick much? And then there has been residual ash at that level till this moment. And we reported on Shishaldin uptick, and on the 11th, explosive activity continued to 12,000 feet. So Shishaldin is still simmering. And Saku, couple minor explosions. As they say, boom, boom, in some areas. I think I just erased like 14. No, we're good. Here's the Sheveluch live stream. All is quiet on the Sheveluch front. Gorgeous volcano. Now, this gives us an opportunity to show you the old geometry. This is the old cinder cone right here I'm outlining. This blew at probably VEI 4, blowing the cap off. And now we're forming this new cinder cone here in the center. That's the new cinder cone. Oh, it's updating. No booms right now. The new cinder cone is forming, and this is where those ejections are coming from. Now, a bright meteor streaks through the Midwest sky. I'm sure you heard about it. We have the video. We just didn't download it. A blazing meteor lit up the sky in St. Louis, Missouri, and caught by video by excited residents, security cameras, and doorbell cams. The American Meteor Society says we have to watch. watch the commercial, so we'll just shut that off. They received over 120 reports from 8 states from people who say they spotted the streaking meteor on Monday night. Most sightings were reported in Missouri, or Missouri, if you pronounce it correctly, but people in Illinois, Kansas, and Minnesota, say it ain't soda, and Nevada, Nebraska, and Oklahoma, Wisconsin also registered the sightings. Boom! There it is. Let's blow that up, baby. Holy macaroni. Can we even, what's going on here? That is like 4th of July. Hello. Boom. Gorgeous. There she blows. Nobody knows. Red tide is back off the coast of Florida. Residents aren't sure how much more they can take, but they're going to blame it on you. Isn't that crazy? Just pack a bowl. Ready your dab stick. Your mind will be blown at about the 3-minute mark. Trust me on this one.
Anticipation. But these days, a trip off of Florida's Gulf Coast brings only boatfuls of dread. Toxic algae is blooming like mad here, and you can see and smell the result everywhere, onshore and off. A dolphin sighting that would normally inspire wonder, oh, there's 2 right there, now only makes you worry. Whoa, there he is, he's right here. Look at this. Wow, you can really feel it in your nostrils and your sinuses in the back of your throat.
Wow,
it's like a mild pepper
really
spray
worried?
when this algae
It's
gets up in the air.
Voice hoarse, I think.
And so if we can feel that discomfort, you gotta wonder what it's like to be a dolphin in a red tide like this. Oh, there he is. Their blowhole is just inches beneath the surface.
Whose
90 miles up
blowhole
the coast, they just
is
found
beneath
2
the
dolphins that
surface?
could not survive this epic red tide. But more shocking are the beaches with drift piles of rotting dead fish stretching to the horizon.
That's
A
free
visit
food
to
for
the
the
marine
homeless in my
biologist
eye.
at Florida Gulf Coast University is like a visit to the morgue.
Probably
And these
not.
are just 2 of more than 400 sea turtles found in this area alone.
This one
I
is
hear they're
able to
delicious
breed.
in soup.
This one here, this is all the juvenile.
Makes your heart hurt, doesn't it?
You go through stages. Hurts, then you're angry.
This is the villain right here. This
Yeah.
is the red tide.
Yeah, and this one down here on the bottom.
Yeah. The algae that causes red tides occurs naturally in salt water, but human activity on land can make the situation much, much worse.
Well, they love nitrogen and phosphorus.
Which are fertilizers, yeah.
Yeah.
That's burning sugar, or is that what's processing? Processing sugar.
Yeah,
Generations
nitrogen
of sugarcane
and
farming has
phosphorus,
altered the
pricks.
chemistry of Lake Okeechobee and the health of the Everglades. In wet season, Florida dumps a massive amount of
Now, if you continue to watch this video, they're going to go to some people on the scene and ask them what they think. And the people are going to be like, yeah, it's our fault. We're all responsible. After they just said it's from fertilizer. It's from corporations using chemical fertilizer that is running off into the rivers and creating the red tide. It's from nitrogen and phosphorus in fertilizers. That's not your fault. That's the companies that are dumping it on the ground that runs in the river's fault. Period. How is that your fault? Oh my God. But you know how many people think it's their fault? Almost everybody. That's the sad part. Now the Curiosity rover detects oxygen behaving strangely on Mars. You know how strangely it's behaving? Just read the article. It's respirating. It increases in the spring and the summer, and then decreases in the fall and winter. The planet is alive. There are plants on Mars in the subsurface, apparently, respirating oxygen, just like the Earth breathes. Mars is breathing. But scientists they have no idea what's going on. I can't believe how stupid the world has become. Thermonuclear explosions in Sagittarius constellation are one of the brightest ever recorded. And that is a pretty big boom. Right at the center, where there is no black hole. Voyager's 2 trip to interstellar space deepens some mysteries beyond our solar system. Did you know that the Voyager program detected a Birkeland current connecting our solar system to somewhere near Orion? Did you know that? YouTube's terms of service changes spell trouble for conservative channels. Now, the phraseology they are using in this update coming on December 12th is crazy. It says they can terminate you if you are no longer economically viable. That's crazy. There are like millions of content creators on YouTube that are not monetized. There are hundreds of millions of them. Are they all going to be erased? No. This is a ploy because if they've demonetized you, they can erase you, especially if they don't like your political message. So if you don't like what YouTube likes, you're fluxed. Period. Now, we were talking about Ormus yesterday. Gold of the gods. Mana. Could be what the Hebrews in the desert were eating. Gold, monatomic gold, in the form of a conical loaf of bread, which is throughout Egyptian hieroglyphs. Now the Ormus, or the loaf, you have to watch this Robert Sefer video to get you acquainted with the lost archaeology and the alchemical hokey stuff. It all comes together in Sefer's presentation here. So watch the video first. That's Robert Sefer on YouTube. We're going to link it below. Golds of the Gods, Alchemy, Monatomic Ormus. And that will bring you up to speed. And then we're going to take you right over to our store where we have I Am Joy, which is right here. It's $32 a bottle. And I'm going to just tell you that this has not only monatomic gold in it, it also has, it's all organic. It's one of the most delicious tinctures I have ever taken. It has natural lemon and maybe eucalyptus. It has C60. It has cannabis sativa, CB2, a special terpene blend, and it is legal everywhere in the world. So we've put that in there, and we also put in the Atomic Ormus, which comes in a EMF-proof bag to keep the elements safe. And then you've got the jar inside. I don't know if you can see that. All of these products are in the store. They help you with mental clarity. They'll help you with regulating your immune system, so you don't need that flu shot and that thimerosal right in your neck. I also included a book on Ormus, and you've also got all the super greens that I take, and a little bit of the shungite, which is in my stainless steel bottle there, as well as other supplements that you may be interested in. If you need anything in that you usually purchase, and you want it in our store, tell me. I'll put it in there. That way, the channel benefits, and you get to buy the same stuff you're always buying. That way, it's a win-win. Hope you got something out of the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Each and every one of you, we love you. Thank you to all of our new Patreons, our one-time donors. The most important thing you can do is share this video. It's free. And it is the way that we will break the boundaries that we need to continue to break to have a lot of those sounds happening as people's heads come directly out of their buttocks.